In the first video, we discussed the definition of austerity, which consists of 3 steps. The first step is to define when in the business cycle austerity is used. That, of course, is early in a recession. The second step is to define what the tools are for austerity policies. They are tax increases, spending cuts, or a combination thereof. In the third step, we define the purpose of austerity. The purpose is either government first or limited government. The government first purpose means that we try to preserve government spending programs as unharmed as possible through the recession. The limited government purpose means that we try to limit government as permanently as we can to give room to the private sector instead. In this video, we're going to look at a recent example of austerity here in the United States. And we're going to see whether or not it falls under the government first category or in the limited government category. Let us consider a hypothetical entitlement program. And this chart illustrates its spending trajectory if we do not do any budget cuts at all. Suppose a recession hits. Government runs a budget deficit. There is a one-time downward adjustment of spending in Entitlement Program E. This means that once the spending cuts have been made, spending will continue to increase according to the old formula. In other words, it will increase parallel to the original spending trajectory. There is no change to the variables that drive spending in Entitlement Program E. Suppose instead, though, that Congress chose a limited government approach to austerity. In this case, the goal would not be to try to preserve Program E, but to permanently reduce its size and to permanently reduce its burden on the private sector. And this is done by, for example, changing the formula that defines when, how, and for what money people qualify. How does the Budget Control Act compare to our little example here? Let's look at the spending trajectory of the Budget Control Act sequester compared to what it would look like in its absence. Let's see if we can define the purpose behind the Budget Control Act by looking at the spending trajectories under the Control Act and in its absence. As we can see, the trajectory of spending under the Budget Control Act is almost exactly the same as it would have been in absence of the Budget Control Act. In other words, the conclusion is that the Budget Control Act was a government-first type of austerity. There was no attempt at all to terminate or permanently reduce the size of any government spending program. In the next video, we're going to look at what a limited government austerity program might look like. We're going to compare it to a real example of a government-first program, and as we know by now, there are plenty of those. Until then, thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next video.